Okay, we're comparing digital BOLs, digital bills of lading, EPOD, electronic proof of delivery. We're going to do that today. I didn't have my applause button ready because, these shows, man, it's a lot of work to organize all the information and stuff that we're going to talk about. So I'll get the applause button ready. But let's just jump right in. Industry Logistics, live on Thursdays, YouTube and LinkedIn. Today we're going to talk about preferred proof of delivery. And as I told you, Sue, the concept of this show is, the carriers fill out their bill of lading, right? Their
Right.
mobile app.
Right.
The inspection.
Mm-hmm.
Do they know what the shipper gets after they deliver the vehicle? Do they know?
I'm assuming, because they can also, like, for example, on Super Dispatch, I was showing you, I can't show it to you guys because we found out we can't really link it. But when I go into his app, I can look at the bill of lading and you can send the bill of lading or you can send the invoice directly from there. So yeah, he can see what he's sending exactly to them.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I have had a lot of, because I also bill out for him, which also comes with a BOL and a link, and I've had a lot of brokers. Now, I think they're getting in more into the swing of things, but they did not know that you have to click the link to see the pictures, to see all of the BOL. So that's still, I think, for some brokers, a learning process of where to go to grab that information.
And here we are. We are now, this technology has existed for, 8 years?
Yeah, I think that's what we talked about.
It's a long learning curve.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
Right?
That is.
And, I know this because, that's right, Super J used to demonstrate to people how to use the stuff.
Right.
Okay. So I know this stuff very well. And I also, looking around, right? Poking around at those. We just talked about load boards. Folks that have load boards are also the folks that have mobile apps.
Yep.
EPODs.
Yep.
Assertus talks about what's the purpose of an electronic bill of lading. And to act as a receipt, as a title to the goods, as a contract. Right? It's all in there. I'm just going through some of the, the rules of the field. Nexus also talks about, look at this. Here's some things you should see on a BOL. Shipper and consignee names, addresses,
Yep.
dimensions of the vehicle.
So,
weight? Yeah.
I will say,
Yeah.
now, Metrogistics and United Road almost always have the dimensions and weight on the manifest when they send it to you. Now, I have had, when you put it into Super Dispatch, it doesn't always bring it all up. And it usually never gives you the curb weight. So, and on Central, I don't know if most people notice, you can click on most of them. If they put the VIN number in there, I think that's how you get the actual dimensions. But if you look on Central, you'll see some don't have anything and some do. And I think that's the reason being is if you put a full VIN in, it's going to work that way.
So this is one of the things that, as we continue to move into it, there's things the carrier knows, does, and sees, and then there are things the shipper or dealer knows, does, or sees. And the two systems don't directly overlap.
No.
But I do believe, now that could be crazy, wouldn't be the first time, that both parties should know what the other is doing.
I think so, yeah.
And that's part of my shtick, I suppose. Education is the point. All right. So, and then, the information, whatever you need, the gate pass info, the VIN, etc. It should be on there.
Should be. Is it always? No.
Right.
A lot of times we're chasing the gate passes or the release paperwork and stuff like that. And then there's some places, some brokers that you're in their account and they have them in certain areas that you have to go to find them too.
Well, that's
but
right.
You got to know that.
Exactly. So how is the information organized? I have a copy of a voicemail where a dealer called a gate at like a Mannheim, and he didn't have the right thing to let the drivers at the Mannheim
Uh-huh.
The dealer's on the phone with the guard shack. The guard is saying your driver doesn't have the right paperwork to pick up
Uh-huh.
your car. And the
Uh-huh.
dealer's like, dude, I'm on the phone.
Right. They don't
What
care.
can I do?
Yeah.
Well, you need to call this phone number on Monday, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
thought, wow, I have a copy of the voicemail.
Yeah.
That's what people
That's
do. Send me
exactly
your
right.
stuff, autotransportintel@gmail.com.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's the norm,
And I'm
especially
not
at
playing
Myanmar
it
and stuff.
because that's the thing, too. Here on ATI, we are not, this is not a gotcha channel. We're not here to
No.
announce every bankruptcy and
No. We're
crinkle in
here
the
to
drapes, okay?
inform and help.
Inform and help. All right, so odometer requirements is another one. Like, you know, and
Hmm.
these are constantly coming out. I don't
Yes.
know how drivers can keep up.
I don't know how
I
they
have
can either
no
because you
idea.
know, and I know probably most of them don't even see these emails because they're too busy driving.
No way. I
Yeah.
I barely have time to screen capture and
Right. This stuff.
highlight. Yeah,
Right.
it's crazy.
And then I think I sent you a
Here's
new
what
thing
drive.
also about ACV while we've got them up. They are not allowing anybody unless you have 6 months behind you to sign up now.
All right, so clarify because you have this information I don't. What is
Yeah.
it?
You cannot sign up for ACV unless you've been in business for 6 months or your DOT is 6 months old, etc. That kind of thing.
Now,
When did they
that's. I
start
mean,
that?
a shipper might say that sounds like a great idea. Why isn't that a great idea?
Well, if you take into effect how many companies have gone out of business in, we'll just say the last year, right?
Why have they gone out of business
Well,
soon?
because the rates are too low
Oh, come
and,
on.
on and on. But then, so then we got all this influx of all these brand new carriers, which is what we deal with mostly, and we can't get signed up with them. So eventually what's going to happen is like what always happens, they're going to end up not having these drivers, and then they're going to have to open up their doors to make it easier so we can get in there and get their loads. So,
Then everybody sits around the campfire talking about driver shortage. Well,
yep,
how did we get here, folks?
yep.
You
That's
drove
it.
them out. I know.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to take responsibility.
And I get it. I get that there should be a waiting period. I think 6 months might be excessive. I think 90 days, I think that's doable. 6 months is a long time.
6 months actually is a long time because
Mhm.
then once you finally, if let's say you can hold your breath for 6 months,
Yeah.
because
Do you
that's what
wanna
it
mess
feels
with them?
like.
Right.
Then you have zero ratings or anything, right?
Ah, right.
So you've gone 6 months flatline.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I don't know the answer, and I'm glad I don't work in carrier vetting.
Yeah.
I'd be
'Cause,
terrible at it.
we're dealing with a whole bunch of new carriers, and we're trying to set them up and try to keep them on the road. And it's like I always tell them 90 days to 6 months to where they're really making good money just because, it takes time. But now they're extending the brokers
That's
out even further.
optimistic.
Yeah, and making the brokers 6 months, a year, and stuff like that. I don't know how a new driver ever gets past a certain point.
I don't either.
And then Metrogistics has a whole new sign up thing, and it's
Oh
yeah,
man. And I
Yeah.
mean, this driver management changes. I mean, I know it's helpful stuff, but this one,
Yeah.
here's one: cars arrive. If you don't
Mhm.
use the mobile app,
not getting paid. That's their
oh my
cut off.
gosh.
Now they were giving out warnings last year. Now they're like, no more warnings. Either do it or don't get paid.
Are you booking much through Cars Arrive anyways?
Not really.
See, there you go. All right.
Yeah.
Well, good to know. Run Buggy's terms of service update. That was another notification. I went online. I looked at it. There's a lot here.
Yeah.
There's a lot to know. So next time your ELD tells you to stop, you can't sleep, read the terms of service. Driver profile edits and notes. This is where I'm gonna say something as we move on. We're about to compare. Stick
Right.
around. We're about to compare. We're just trying to lay the ground rules for those that just aren't in the know. There's a lot to know.
Right.
All right. Central Dispatch, $100 million investment. That news came out in January. It is now
Right.
June. I know very little about what
What-
that means.
Yeah.
I'm just, again, camera one, I'm just saying, for the record, it's June. You know where to find me. I still know very little about it.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter at all. But what is true? Super Dispatch is cranking out the news of stuff they've released, stuff they're working on. If this was about, I mean,
Let me ask.
They're ahead.
Super Dispatch is rocking
Yeah.
the news
Yeah.
with their feature updates.
Yes, I agree.
For what it's worth, who cares?
Oh, Danny.
Jay, keep it to yourself. All right, so here's your wireframe diagram. Wireframe diagram, as exciting as it is. Circles for pickup damages, rounded rectangles for delivery damages. Therefore, you can see a discrepancy. And then you got all your types of damage.
Need flight?
Now, in ye old days of yore, back, in the 90s, it was all handwritten in chicken scratches. And just S, right? Everywhere. That way you're covered. Today, as you know, we've come a long way. This is a Super Dispatch. Okay, now help me, because you're the one that sees this stuff more than I do.
Right.
Is this a shipper
646?
deliverable e-pod? Is this what the dealer, the shipper, sees after delivery?
Yes, because I can go to it and pull it up just like this. So they can scroll down and download more of the pictures if there's more pictures.
And his name
The
is
whole
Danny.
works.
And what I like about this is, and this has come a long way, because I know I was there in the early days, there's a lot here in an organized fashion, right? I can look at the original route. I got the load ID. I know when it was picked up. I know when it was accepted. Look at that. I know when the dispatch was accepted, and then when it was picked up and when it was delivered. I know what kind of vehicle it is. I got the information on the vehicle. I got loose items information. That's interesting. I've always thought that loose items is a little above and beyond.
Yeah.
I agree.
I was
But
gonna wait.
But
until
it can be
you-
helpful. If you're a
Yeah.
dealer,
I don't
you
have
want to
my,
know.
Yeah.
doctor's
How many keys
appointment.
are there with this
And-
thing? Yeah.
and it
Whatever.
said I could do-
he didn't put it on there.
It's
Yeah.
not on. That's okay.
Mm-mm.
That's
It's
why-
above and beyond.
Yeah. Unless you can.
He's got his pickup damages. You never want to see delivery damages,
No.
Do it.
right?
That far out.
He's got some photos, but you can get more.
Okay.
I gotta say, I think this looks pretty good, and that's I've showed this first because this is the new standard, isn't it?
I honestly think this is probably better than anything else out there. I probably shouldn't say that, should I?
I think it,
But,
I think
I
it is
mean-
too, and I have no
When I
benefit from
compare
saying
it-
that.
Because I get, so, I'm a broker too, so I get a lot of Super Dispatch. I get some that are through CarShip.io, and then I get paper ones, and I don't even want them anymore. I want ones with pictures. That way, if there's any discrepancies whatsoever, I can at least go in and focus and see.
What are you going to do with a paper BOL?
Well, there's still people using
don't
them.
even know.
If they even do that. I had a couple like last month that didn't even use a bill of lading. They took the actual central dispatch sheet and had them sign it and date it and then turn it into me. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? And they didn't even know they're supposed to keep those on file in their truck for a certain length of time per the FMCSA, an actual bill of lading. So, there should be courses for this. I think.
Well, there should be courses.
How to be a driver, and this is
I-
what you need to do.
Well, I've been told that they're, one of the ways that people get information is they watch ATI, and I think.
Well, there we go.
Will says, luckily I got signed up with ACV when they only required MC number to be 90 days old.
Mm-hmm.
And Will, have you done well, or have you jumped the shark? He's probably done well. You don't need to be in business for 6 months to be able to access a load board. Is that right? That's a little long.
It seems excessive to me.
Can't I look at the load board before 6 months?
No. No.
Okay, all right. You're the boss. Here again is the BOL. This is not. So here's the difference. This is not what the shipper dealer sees in total. This is what the drivers focused on.
Well, this is what they get. Now, don't know. They will get this, but
They
do you
will
see
get
where it
this.
says HTTPS BOLSuperdispatch.com?
Yes, yeah.
That's where you click. That's where you go get the rest of everything you need.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. I know that, we can see that, but sometimes the average
They've had to
here's the
highlight it and
thing.
everything. Yeah.
It's not always the broker. It could be the accounting department for the brokerage who doesn't know how to do this. So, you know what I mean? It's not always one or the other. You got new people you're training. They're not going to know what to look for either.
Yeah, right. But this is also pretty uniform.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're going to see other examples that kind of follow this.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting. I mean, I know this has been a development over time. Here's an STI stamp.
You know what we do instead that I like to do? That way you still get the signature. Because they have the COVID thing on there where you can send the email to them where it's called no signature because they don't want you to touch your phone. But anyways, you'll send it to them and if you're doing this after hours, the next day once they get in and inspect it, they can send it back and then it's signed. I think that's easier. As long as you're talking to somebody there, anyways.
That's pretty neat.
But that way you're covered. I don't like to do STIs because you just never know.
Well, I agree with you. There are a lot of places that are like, listen, if there's no signature, I don't care what it says. It's not going to work.
Right.
Yeah. Get the guard to sign it. Get the guard's best friend.
Well, and there's just some brokers. There are no STIs allowed. Period. End of story. Don't do it.
Right. Right. Don't pick it up.
Yeah. If you're going to do that, don't take it.
Yeah. Don't do anything. I think this is a different version of the documentation. Okay, and here's some. I guess if you click on it and you go and look at some of those photos, we're going to be talking about video here in a minute because I do have a copy of a video from a Super Dispatch ePod. All right, here's AutoSled. We said we were going to compare.
Yes.
And before we move on, AutoSled, we're just going to say this. Gosh, I didn't know it'd be so hard to get a hold of different companies' ePods.
Right. Well, the problem is the guys save them on their phone because that's what I'm trying to do is get my driver's stuff so we can get in there. But like, for example, the Metrogistics Velocity one, in order for them to get it, Danny was going to have to like delete it from his phone and restart over. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. And then most of the drivers just don't remember what their usernames and passwords are. And they've got them saved on their phone. So you know how that goes. We just couldn't get them. But like I said, I got AutoSled. That one was easy. And we have Super Dispatch. But the Super Dispatch, I just can't show you the same like what we just did there. But you have the basics of what we're looking at.
Well, and I will be reaching out to these auto transport technology companies about their load boards, about their ePods. So I'll be working on that. But we do have, here's AutoSled. Now, this is an AutoSled BOL, pretty similar to the Super Dispatch. But we do have a difference here.
Yeah. I don't know where you go to actually look at the physical BOL and the pictures.
Yeah, so what's interesting is, and I think this was part of the TMS. But we're gonna also, but you got to click on pick up BOL video, and they're also talking about video. I found that interesting. Now these images were attached inside of, I guess, at the bottom of the BOL.
Oh, okay.
And what I liked was, I mean, these images, they look great. You could take a bunch. It's even got, what are those like Are those like global GPS coordinates?
That's what that looks like. So it shows you exactly where they're at when they took the picture.
Pretty
That's
interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, that is interesting. And just Photo City, which you can't go wrong.
No.
Take photos.
Yeah.
Now, I did find this. So here is, I've never seen this layout before.
I've never either. That's actually, I kind of like it.
It's interesting.
Because the other one is just like, throw a pin at it. You know what I mean? This has got coordinates.
Well, I ran into this years ago. I was talking to I think it was a client.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they said, hey, here's the thing. Your driver marked the damage, but I can't see underneath the circle that he put. Can you get
move
me
the circle?
And I thought, well, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
The circle should almost be next to the damage, not on top of it.
Right.
But speculation live. But you're right. This is really interesting. And that means, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Is that what it is? Skin a cat?
Yes.
Why is anybody skinning cats?
Because they're mean.
What is going on? Must be automotive. Okay, so this is also part of the TMS, I believe. the TMS
and I like,
interface on
yeah, and I like what he
AutoSled.
wrote for the driver drop-off notes too.
Love that, man.
Yeah.
Driver notes.
Yep.
And this is one of the reasons why
Mm-hmm.
I think it is important when you're dispatching and you have loads to allow drivers to be able to make notes, to allow dispatchers to be able to make notes. This goes into when you're on Central and the reference ID. You know, that's why people put notes in the reference ID. Sometimes you can't get enough critical notes to let you know what's going on. Here is in the AutoSled in the TMS. Now again, I don't think the driver goes into the TMS. The dispatcher does, the dealer does, the shipper does.
Mm-hmm.
But these drop-off notes that are in the TMS should end up on the driver's mobile app as they do the BOL.
And see, we don't put that on there, so that's what they had in there for AutoSled.
Right. And so the driver put this in the mobile app and it ended up on the TMS. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, the drop-off hours, I think, were already on there.
They were already
Yes.
there. And then the driver's notes.
And then he put the driver's notes, however that worked out, yeah.
And I always recommend using as many exclamation marks as possible.
And here's the thing. How many times do you get a phone call from a dealership and said they can't find the keys? Who did you leave the keys with, right?
Totally.
So
Well,
that's
and I
perfect.
say, well, you didn't put enough exclamation marks.
Well, no, I'm just saying you've got CJ's name, so we knew who to go to, that
right.
kind of thing.
CJ. More TMS stuff. Again, this is AutoSled. I'm liking the way AutoSled looks. I've never used it because I'm not a driver. I'm not a dispatcher, but it looks pretty good. And I've heard that. I've heard drivers say, I like AutoSled. Now, here is on delivery. Contact's name is Mike Refused. I think that's good. That's awesome. And then, you know, we all have a bad day. And he says the app constantly crashing. What a disaster. What's interesting is there's a ton of pictures, but here's why I point this out. In the world of easy peasy lemon squeezy, you know, it's not easy for drivers. Every time they go to pick up or deliver, they could be on the moon. You know, and life is exploding. And the truck's exploding and everything's going crazy. And here you've got somebody saying, well, you got to use the app or you're not going to get paid. And the driver's thinking, come on, man. I am picking up and delivering cars.
Right.
During a hurricane. Right?
Right.
Can I get a break?
Yeah.
Think about that. All right? Next time you demand, think about these guys out there. That's why when they ask for another $25,
Right.
do you wanna crawl up and down an icy, boiling ramp
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of traffic in Houston?
Yep.
Come on.
Deal with a person that's
It's
not there
insane
and you're
what
sitting there
these guys
waiting
go
and
through.
over and over.
It's insane.
So, yeah.
And yeah, again, great, and like pictures of the keys and the color. I mean, this is great. And this is his drop off at the Mannheim. Since Mike refused, it is Picture City. Looks really good. Even the got a little bird squash. So now we're back to the Super Dispatch, and we'll wrap this up shortly. We said we'd try to do a 30-minute show.
Okay.
We got a lot more e-pods to look at, but this is what we're thinking. You got the route, you got the wireframe, you got some photos, you have options. I like also on a screen, I like seeing options like you got your print option, click the link.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see it all on one screen. Is there a way to get it all on one screen? It's challenging. Takes a lot
and then,
of
and you
thought.
figure this is on their little phone that they're doing too.
Well,
so
right.
that makes it even harder.
I had saw in one of the deliveries, so there were photos attached.
Mm-hmm.
And there was even a video, but here's a still photo, and again, Super Dispatch also has so you got the date. Oh, you can't see that. Well, darn it all. I can't zoom out because the picture's so big. But
Well, I can see it on my screen. You're talking
I
about
know, but it's not on the TV.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Anyways, but you got the location, you got the date. Now you don't have the GPS coordinates.
No. But it says Fort Wayne, Indiana.
It does say Fort, and then it says the address. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And I like this picture. Good job, driver. You know what I really like about this picture? It shows the dealer. Dude, it's right outside your service bay.
Yeah, and where it's parked.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I love that photo. Because, like, here, you know, this could be, well, I guess you know the guys across the street are probably building a building, but, anyways. Let's see, roll the video. All right, here. So here's a video that was sent with this would be the first. Welcome to the first video inside of a BOL that I've seen. I haven't seen one before.
Okay.
Oh, and it's on the other screen. Here we go. And now I can't play because I can't see the control button. Here we go.
The car has been dropped today, Sunday, June 2nd, at Toyota in Fort Wayne. Thank you.
He narrates. It's great. Here we go.
The car has been dropped today, Sunday, June 2nd, at Toyota in Fort Wayne. Thank you.
There we go.
Nice job.
Nice.
Nicely done. And that video was inside of the Super Dispatch EPOD, electronic proof of delivery to the dealer, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. So I mean, you know, you're now ready to pay the guy, right? You got your proof of delivery document.
Yep.
With all the information, picked up, delivered. You have your photos. Your damage looks fine because there was no extra damage on delivery. You know where the car is. You should be good to go, right?
Yeah, I would think, yeah.
And isn't that's the whole point of auto shipping, is receive your car in the condition that you expect it to be in a timely manner, and now you have it to do whatever you're going to do with it.
Right.
And that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Was that so hard?
No, I mean, honestly, if people think about it, from what we used to do to now, this is so much easier.
This is so much easier.
Oh my God. The carbon copies and the paperwork.
Which one? Now I got to give you the cardinal. Remember the paper?
And the thing opened up, and I know. That's
so
crazy.
It is amazing. It really is amazing. And yet, okay, so we're 8 years down the technology curve. And I'd love to hear what Beck thinks that number is. Is it 8.5 years? Is it 9 years? I don't know. But
we should ask the audience too, is which is their favorite
right.
mobile EBOL system.
So what is your favorite? Thank you.
Yeah.
What is your favorite? You can say mobile app. This is where the content continues. Right. What's your favorite load board? What's your favorite mobile app? What's your favorite ePod?
Yep.
And who do you like to work with?
And then, would you rather not have any of them at all?
There's going to be guys that would say
or
that.
Just one.
But I think a lot of those guys got weeded out.
You think?
I think anybody getting in now, this is normal, right?
Yeah, except I will say that, they don't like using multiple apps. And as a safety net, I always have them use Super Dispatch no matter what, because I have had United Road lose our paperwork. I've had Ready Auto lose our paperwork. And that's what's kind of sad, is to make them do double the work just because we want to make sure they get paid.
So that, I guess, is the next thing to really figure out is how can there be one system?
Right.
Can
that
there
everybody uses, yeah.
And, I think I'm going to go back to the original idea. I think that was Beck's original thing, is this is the new third-party solution.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's exactly what his plan was. He just didn't think that these other brokers were going to go out there because, mine's better than yours kind of thing.
Well, maybe that's why he got into the load board business.
That's true.
All right, fine. Then I'll compete with you.
Yeah, true.
Do you like those apples? Yeah, I don't know, but here's what I want to do next is I do want to compete. I want to continue comparing ePods, but we're
Okay.
gonna need to get to see some of it. So
Yeah.
I need to reach out to these technology companies,
Hmm.
and I would also like to learn more about can you really not sign up with ACV for 6 months?
Right.
Is there
Yeah.
is there anything we could do?
Didn't we have the guys from Ship.Cars on?
So, this is a weird topic.
Oh, okay. 'cause I was
Meaning,
gonna say, we can
okay,
get
well,
hold of
let's
them.
talk about it, and then we're going to go. I have, over the years, been in touch with many companies. Pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
Some not.
Right.
They come and go, and it's meaning, like, I never know. Like, okay, here's what. Mike Trudeau of Montway just put an article out on, or rather, an article was put out on autoremarketing.com magazine
Mhm.
by Mike Trudeau
Okay.
of Montway.
Right.
And I read it, and I mean, yeah, sure, it's about auto transport.
Hmm.
But why? What was the point of doing that? Again, the focus is on sales.
Hmm.
I can't help but think that this has to be true. The reason why Jay doesn't have an update on Central Dispatch's stuff, the reason why I couldn't tell you anything new about Ship.Cars, the focus is on clients, not logistics education.
Right.
And I'm not blaming anybody. I get it. I mean, if I was near the top of the heap, I'd be focused on revenue,
Right.
not who's educated.
Yeah.
I get
who
it.
knows what? Yeah.
But this is where, there's still and not to mention, we talked about it before the show. What are the guys watching?
Yeah.
They're watching videos of other guys talking about other guys, and
Driving a truck. Yeah.
So, there may not be any need for all this hoopla. We might. Sue, we should hang it up. This is a waste of time.
Well. Anyway.
I would if I could. All right. That's the end of the show. We'll be back next Thursday. And,
I'm buying us a money gun.
well, yeah, that's right. Find me in Money Gun. Oh, we've got Shiafra from Trusted. Remember
Okay.
how we're talking about the frauds?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Another
So it's
awesome
a-
topic.
A verification company, is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay.
Trusted is a carrier verification company. Identification, verification.
Okay, cool.
And I would think that with that kind of stuff, you could lower the number of months required to get access, right?
Well, yeah.
Something like that. So anyways, we'll talk to her about that too.
Okay.
So send me the fraud stuff, the news, any frauds. That's the show next Thursday.
Okay.
Okay?
Dispatch, can I help you?
And there she is, making another call. What do we say, office?
Goodbye, Sue.
Goodbye, Sue. Thanks, everybody. We tried to make this show shorter. We did it. 30 minutes is now our new... We're going to try. All right? We'll try.
Yep.
All right. Nobody cares anyway, so...
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
See you. See you later. Okay, bye. Oh.